Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
What I'm showing now is Workday Studio, but you ignore that. What I want to show you is the XML which you see here. Make it big. This is the one. When you run your core connector worker integration right, it gives you an XML output. Right, which is the parent tag. If you see, here is ws:\worker sync. Right, and then you have, that's a standard namespace stuff. Then is the header which shows what? How many employees have been picked up? Because it picks the changes only right. It says worker count is 56. And then these are the date time parameters which you will kind of pass at runtime. It will give that. This is actually a header of no use. Then comes the next tag which is worker. Right, worker is the child of worker synced. Right, this ABS header and worker are at the same level. Right, it's a parent-child relation. ABS worker sync is the parent. And then you have header as child, and then worker is at the same level of header. Both of them are the child nodes of worker sync. Right, and then in worker, if you see there are many workers, right, it will have all the workers. Right now, I have just made the file short that it will be easy to view. Right. But if they are 56, then there will be 56 kind of these WS worker tags which starts from here and goes till here. Right. Now, what is there in this? There is a summary which says employee ID and the name. Eligibility is true. That comes by default. And then in our connector, we have chosen the personal data section. All the fields that we have chosen will come up like this in the name data is first name, last name, the state, the selected birth date, then address data, both home and work. And then in the status, we do have the hire date. Then there is this additional information where all this stuff is coming up. Right. This is how a general connector's output will look like. Only thing that will vary is the number of fields. Right. That will depend on what you have selected in your services and what you have selected in the integration. Attributes right. Configure field attributes there. Whatever fields you have chosen, that will come up like this, but always the parent will be worker sync and then the child will be all the workers. This is an XML file. Now, this is the output of the connector, right, which is XML. Now, every system will not accept XML, right? They will say we want a text file. We want a comma separated file and all that stuff. Right. That means we will have to do some transformation on this to convert it into a format which they want. Right. And when this is the need, then comes the second integration type of work there, which I will explain with my favorite tool. Right. This is your, and let's take the example which has given. this is Workday, right, which is the HR system. And then you have here, say, for example, PeoplesOff, which is the finance system. Right? Very common use case. You send the employee data to PeoplesOff. Because, say, if it's the finance system, you need it for employee to log in. If there are expenses and all that stuff, you need to create their account. If it's a new hire, it should go there. They update it there. If it's terminated, it should be updated there. Right. This data has to go there like this. Right. For this, what you have done, say, you have created here an integration, right, which is this, or connect. Now this core connector will give you an example. Right. An example. Now say the PeoplesOff doesn't want XML. It want a file which is of comma separated one, right, or a fixed width file. Then what we do is we kind of, along with this connector, we create another integration in between. Right. And then that integration type is called doc transformation. Now what this transformation will have? It has decoding. Now decoding will start. It has a coding which is written in XS. It has an XS code attached. Right. And this XS code will take XML as input. Update that XML into the format which the other system. Right. It becomes like this. Then there are a few things to remember. Document transformation. Is an integration type in Workday, which is never used standalone. What does this mean? It is either used as a prior or post integration. That means either after or before connector or studio. Case by case. What does this mean? A document transformation is an integration type. You also created using the same task create integration system, right? And then the template name, right, for core connector. This worker you gave the template name as core connector worker. For the financial one, you give MX and all those stuff. For document transformation, the template type is document transformation. You do that. And then the only thing we have to do there is attach a code. Right? And this code, you can write it in any software that you know. You can do it online, you can do it in your notepad, you can do it in Oxygen and all that. Oxygen is one tool which is available. You can download it, but it's on a 30-day trial. Right? As it needs a license, you have to pay for it. But the best way I've seen everyone using it is you download it and use it for 30 days. Give your email. Do that right. Now, then what is accessibility? Right. That is our stuff. What is accessibility? Accessibility is the extensible. I'll shoot. Right. Right. It can only operate on. Accessibility only works on XML. Right? If you can see, if XL is the input, has to be the input to document transformation always. Now when I say here this part, but your post right. What does this mean? Pre and post means. For example, now in our case we have a codec connector right. It generates an XML, but the final system doesn't want an XML, it wants other format. This is the way you use document transformation. After the core connector, and where we will do configure this, it will be configured in the business process. Right? If you remember, step A was initiate, B was fire integration. Then the third one will be this integration step calling document transformation. And then the fourth one will become document delivery. This was the case of post. Now let's see in what cases it will be pre. Pre will be safe. It's an inbound integration. Right. Example is, say you have, say, a credit card transaction, credit card connected. Right. Say it takes an XML. Now the vendor is sending you XML. But before the connector can use it, we need to do some modification. Right. There has to be some tag which needs to be added or some tags which needs to be deleted and all that stuff. If you have to do that, that means whatever the vendor is sending connector cannot use it directly. In that case, what do? You use a document transformation first. Take the input from the vendor, convert it into the XML which the connector needs. And then it will work as expected. The reason why we use it is because the first choice for an integration, any requirement, is first we check whether a connector is available. If the connector is there, that's the way we do it. If the connector is not available, but there is a similar connector and it needs some modification, then we use this document transformation. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.